When these Republicans, keep telling you that, debt ceiling and then, fiscal spending go hand in hand, and then we need to like cap future spending to be able to raise the debt ceiling, that's some bullshit. And then watch this video to see what I'm talking about.
I must be missing something. If having a debt ceiling didn't do anything for me, and it hasn't worked for the United States, what is its purpose?
It served a purpose a long time ago to actually try to make things easier, not harder, for Treasury to pay the obligations on time without jumping through hoops. It now serves no purpose. It should be abolished.
But Congress swears by this debt ceiling. In fact, it has gone through this exercise of changing or suspending the debt ceiling 78 times since 1960. Dr. Edelberg, given 78 times of this debt ceiling that we think is going to somehow curb our budget decisions, has the United States lowered its debt? This didn't work for me in this hypothetical. Has it worked for the U.S.?
There's no evidence that the debt ceiling has led to lower federal borrowing, no.
Whether you're the United States government or a single mom like me, we all have things that we need to buy. Just like my kids need food and clothes, our country can't live without public safety, roads and bridges, and services like veteran health care and senior food assistance. There's another thing that I have in common with our government. I buy on credit, and I've never defaulted on my debt. Dr. Edelberg, given my credit history and that I've never defaulted, how might a credit card company assess my creditworthiness?
You sound like a good risk.
So let's say my credit card company has given me a card that allows me to buy everything I could ever possibly want. But because I'm fiscally responsible, I'm going to create a debt ceiling for myself. It's modeled on Congress. I am getting my debt, I'm going to set my personal debt ceiling at $1,000. I don't want more than $1,000 of debt. I want to be fiscally responsible, no matter how much my credit card company is willing to loan me because of my stellar credit card history. So I go to the store, and I have a lot I need to buy for my family. I fill my cart to the top. I get to the front of the store, and I ring up $500. I look at the bill. I reach for my card. I worry because I know I've already spent probably $1,000 in the last few weeks because of an ER visit, braces for my daughter. Dr. Edelberg, will my credit card company respect my personal $1,000 debt ceiling, or will this transaction go through?
The transaction will go through.
I hate to disrespect my debt ceiling, but my kids have to eat, they need their school supplies, their feet keep growing. So I swipe the credit card, the charge goes through. Now fast forward, my credit card bill arrives. It's more than my $1,000 debt ceiling. I call up my credit card company and I tell them, I've exceeded my debt ceiling. I'm not going to pay back the $500 above my debt ceiling, even though I've already spent it, even though my kids have already eaten the food, worn the clothes. Dr. Edelberg, will my credit card company accept this, my personal debt ceiling, as an excuse for why I'm not paying my bills?
They will consider you in default.
So my lender expects to be repaid.
As simple as that. You know what I mean? You spend $100. That's a due date that you need to pay the $100 back. You know what I'm saying? And when that due date is up, you don't tell the credit card company that, hey, my debt ceiling was $80 and I went over it. That has nothing to do with it. You need to pay for what you owe. It has nothing to do with your future spending. Pay what you owe. Sit back down and think about how you're gonna, go about your future spending. So regardless, you're gonna pay. You know what I'm saying? Whether you ration your future spending or not, it has nothing to do with it on what you owe. Simple as that. This is not hard to understand. You don't hold the economy hostage. That, hey, if we don't get what we want, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling. We're not going to pay our bills. How does that even make sense?
No matter what I set as my debt ceiling, if I decide to stick with my debt ceiling and I do default, you said they'll consider me in default, what's going to happen to me?
They'll lower your credit limit. They'll raise your interest rate. They might even cancel the card.
So I really have no choice here.
So basically, if you don't pay for it, you're going to destroy your own credit. If you don't pay for the debt that the country owes, you're going to destroy the economy. It goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Pay for your debt and then have conversation about your future spending. That is what responsible people do. You don't default, you don't destroy your credit, and then sit down later and think about how you're going to spend it in the future. Come on, dog.
They might even cancel the card.
So I really have no choice here as a consumer, as a mom, to suspend my $1,000 debt ceiling and pay off the debt that I've taken. Buy the ticket, take the ride. I did the spending, I've got to pay it back. Mm-hmm. Dr. Edelberg, I'm confused because I thought that if I created a debt ceiling, that would make me fiscally responsible. Did it change my spending in this hypothetical?
It might have slowed you down, but at the end of the day, you blew through your debt ceiling.
Did it make me have less debt somehow to announce that I had a debt ceiling to the credit card company? Did that help me get my debt forgiven, or
It did not help you get your debt forgiven.
did it make me fiscally responsible? Did it help lenders think at least that I'm a good credit risk?
Only if they thought it was credible that you were going to keep your spending under the debt limit, which apparently wouldn't have been a good assumption.
If having a debt ceiling didn't do anything for me, and it hasn't worked for the United States, what is its purpose?
It served a purpose a long time ago to actually try to make things easier, not harder, for Treasury to pay the obligations on time.
When you watch videos like this, when you see them speak, you can just see like contrast between Democrats and Republicans. Sheer stupidity of this Republic thinking that they are actually willing to crash the economy to get what they want. If I don't get what I want, it's like a terrorist. If I don't get the money, I'm going to take your life. That's what all this is about. You claim that, you want to go against China, you want to do this, you want to do that. You want to make the economy boom, but yet you guys are doing things that will crash the economy, bring, the United States down. Are you guys working for China? Talk to me. You know what I mean? There are people that are ready to govern, people that are ready to make these decisions. Pay your bills and talk about future spending. It is what it is. How is this hard for grown-ups to understand?
Without jumping through hoops, it now serves no purpose. It should be abolished.
So you're saying that now that we actually have computers and can keep track of what we owe and when we're going to owe it and make model to anticipate revenue and when it's coming and how we're going to meet our bills, this is just doing as little good as my personal hypothetical $1,000 debt ceiling?
We now have extraordinary transparency over how much Treasury is borrowing, what securities they're issuing, what their timetable is for issuing those. The debt limit.
And then you guys should think about this, right? Like you make a debt ceiling of like $100. You know what I'm saying? And you want to keep everything within that $100. Think about it. Things happen. Things that you can't foresee happen. Sometimes you have to go over that. So regardless, after you go over that debt, you need to pay for it. It is what it is. How is this not easy enough to understand? Hey, open your eyes, my guys. Open your eyes.